support.
I'll go back to the rest of my questions if you do have a question.
Sure, I just have a concern over the use of emails, but I'm sure that the administrators would go over that with you. You don't ever want to get into a place where you're emailing directly with another student. You always want to make sure you're CCing the advisor just to cover yourself. But I'm sure they'll go over some of those kind of regulations with you. And I'm sure that you know, appropriate links would be approved by the administrator before they're posted. And those would be the only two kind of concerns I would have. And that certainly supervision would take care of those. Okay.
I just wondered how, if somebody wants to enroll in this program, become part of it, are you going to engage parents and ask their permission? Or are you just looking for the student to be identifying and wanting to be part of it?
I think that parents could also get involved and maybe call it, know. But I think it's important that they know about the program and even just make sure that if they feel like that it'd be a good idea if their child wanted to be in the program, that they could also encourage that. But I think it'd be important to let the parents know as well, because I think that they're gonna want to know where they are after school too, because they don't want to just be like, oh, where's my kid? They want to rides and everything. But just for the fact that they're communicating with high school students that they're a part of this, I think it's good that they know.
Well, I would actually recommend that parents contribute their participation. I think it's vital that parents know that this is going on, because in order for what you're doing to be successful, it's important that the entire equation be involved, and the family and the home environment is going to be really key. And in some cases you're going to find that parents are lacking in their support of their kids, and sometimes their problems are from that. So we'll want to make sure that at least parents are engaged on some level of either giving permission, or we work through that before the program actually gets started, both on the administrative side and also with the mentors. Most of my other questions were really comments, but I did want Dave to talk about the financial underpinnings.
Well, this is being proposed as a pilot, and any new student activity is considered a pilot for 2 years. So the funding for the advisor, which is ultimately will be negotiated with the teachers union, but right now it would be funded through the school department budget, and also student activity fees would be part of that. So I think the fundraising that that's being talked about here is probably for other expenses that maybe PAL will incur as it goes forward, whether it's the training or special programs that they're putting on, but the funding for the advisor would come out of the budget.
Okay, and am I allowed to know how much that is?
It's $500.
$500 for each, yeah.
Would this be a fee? Is SLAM a fee program as part of extracurricular activities? It's not, and this wouldn't be either, correct?
I don't think so. Because I pay $150 for another supplement, but then for SAM I pay $60. So it's and if you have the regular activity fee for clubs, but then you have the SAM fee too.
Right. Right. Okay.
It's selective.
Right. Right.
In clubs that are all inclusive. David, these kids can run into some real issues, and I hear things like mental health, eating disorders, suicide, and there are certainly students in our district that are struggling with those issues. How comfortable are we? What are we going to do to close the loop and engage parents? What happens if a student shares with one of these peer leaders an issue that they haven't shared with their families? How are we going to bring that about?
Well, I think that's what Karen was getting at too, with her comment about parent involvement. Number one, I am confident with the advisor. Ms. Horgan is clearly knowledgeable in this area, and it also is not unlike what our youth services, the town's youth services director is doing too, because this question has come up through the student involvement through the town's youth services program and the website, and providing information out there. Go to this site because you may have a question about anorexia, or you may have a question about depression, or maybe you're concerned about a relationship between, this person and that person. And certainly, we have spoken about the whole issue of the internet and social networking has opened up the potential for, just some more concerns as well. I think we're going to start on a small scale, and I think it's consistent with the kinds of programs that we have in place right now within the school. So you have SLAM at the high school. There is a peer leadership program here at the middle school, but it's more peer-to-peer. But what we're talking about is high school, it is almost a big brother, big sister kind of relationship. So I think we're going to have to think through some of those issues of confidentiality, because what we don't want to do is put any of our high school students who are serving in the Pell program into a situation that would be very difficult for them,
Yes.
and would be very difficult for middle school youngsters as well.
Certainly. Right. Well, I would like to suggest actually that one of us, and that would be me, I'm trained in this area. I have a master's degree in public health, and so a lot of my work is on maternal depression and childhood depression, so I have a lot of experience in this area. I would like to monitor this program as it develops, because it just seems to me like I would like you to be successful. I think this is a great program, and there are going to be a lot of bumps along the way that are going to you're going to sort of need to figure out how to deal with. The confidentiality issue is huge, and I'm familiar with a lot of other programs that do exactly what you're doing, that have sort of a theoretical underpinning as well as sort of a passionate reason for doing it. It's obvious to me you guys are very talented, and I'm very, very happy to support you. Go ahead and do this. And I'd like to help out if I can. You also, I will say, have probably better presentation skills than most people I've seen in graduate school.
I was going to say that. It was
And,
unbelievable.
I'm very impressed. I'm very
Yes.
impressed. So thank you for bringing this to us. It's a great idea.
Great job. Tremendous job.
David, can you plug Karen in with the administrators? and that group?
Absolutely.
Great.
I have one suggestion, and please don't take it the wrong way, but the next time you do handouts, you want to do them the opposite way with black letters on white. Because the black takes up an awful lot of toner.
That's right. Where did you print these, girls?
I printed them, so.
Shame on you.
I did it for
We got the culprit.
We don't often use color. I'll
send a
make an impression today.
I'll send a couple of toners
I
up to the
love it.
office tomorrow, John.
It
I'm sure
works.
you're out.
Please
This
take
is
that
going up in
as
my
good-
Yeah, that
wall
is
at
awesome.
home, so.
That's awesome.
It meant to be zero.
It is,
Yeah.
well, if there's nothing further, can we have a motion on this program?
I would like to move that we approve the peer assistant leadership program
I'll second.
As a pilot,
as a pilot for 2 years.
Any
It's a
further
2-year
discussion?
period or 1 year?
you would,
It's a 1 year.
it would be, a pilot would be approved this year, and then
We
you would bring it back and
on an annual
reevaluate it.
basis.
Right.
So, all right, so I made
1
my
year.
motion to say 1 year.
And we have Cliff as a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
ladies.
Enjoy your summer. Good job.
Great
Thank
job.
you.
Very impressed. And
So this next, and I apologize, is I've been talking with Amelia about this, but
Amelia, I was only kidding when I said you had to stay till the end.
You have to stay there.
Really good day myself.
Millie has a presentation for us on the book club.
Yes. Well, not just my paper with my plans. I don't have a big presentation like that, but so I was hoping to start a North Reading book discussion club for next year, and it's for any student who shares the same enthusiasm for reading as I do. I know we read books within the school English department, but not all kids read the books. Not all kids are as passionate about reading as others. So this club really can unite all those students and let them discuss about them and delve into the deeper analysis of the language arts and the symbolism within books, etc. And each month there'll be a new book, And at the end of that month, they'll meet for a Power Block lunch meeting, and there's the librarian, could be faculty oversight. Usually it was Miss Ulowski, but she retired, so whoever the new librarian is. The books will have to be pre-approved by the school administration. And then they'll all vary in genre for all the different students, because we want to get books that will motivate all different students to join. And then that's pretty much the basis of the book, and then club. And then lastly, I spoke to Mr. Ward, who was the English department head, and I mentioned extra credit for students who write a review on the book for the language arts class, and he mentioned it to the English department meeting. I haven't heard back from him, but he said it sounded possible and it sounded like a good idea. So that was just some incentive for students to join.
You think of anybody in this club besides you, or?
I have mentioned to it a lot of kids, and there are at least 30 kids.
Oh, I mean, there are 30.
Jared, my
There-
daughter reads about 10 books a month. I know it's gonna be.
Would you wanna get the
Book a
kids
month
that
sounds like a
don't?
lot.
Yes, I would like to make a motion that Jerry be the advisor. Unofficially.
The unofficial, that's a good idea,
Yeah,
Karen.
you can turn on.
I do have one question.
Sorry.
You say in here, no student user fee will be required, and I'm wondering how we accomplish that, because it is a student activity, right?
But if they
It's
give
not a
credit, you
club,
can't
it's
charge,
just-
right?
Well, I wrote club. I meant discussion group. It's not necessarily considered a full club. It's just going to be running for students within the school.
So
But-
it doesn't have an advisor?
No, just the
okay.
yeah.
We would have them advised.
Well, somebody would have to oversight.
I know Miss Manning, I don't know if she's officially the advisor, but I have spoken to her about it, and she's helping me find certain books and stuff like that. She said she'd be willing to advise, but when I spoke with Mr. Bernard, we said that oversight so far, since it's going to be held at lunch in the library, there's lots of faculty in there, and the librarian would be able to be there because she oversights all students during.
Because it's
Power
during
block.
the day, it's not
Mhm.
an advisor after school.
Right,
it's not after school.
Extra fee.
So it's during lunch, and
Yeah,
then they
it's during
just,
lunch.
you're just reading the books at
You
wherever
read the
you
books
want to read the
separately,
books,
Mhm.
right?
And then you meet at the end of the month as a group to discuss them.
And I think there's a law against charging if we're awarding credit, isn't there? Or they're getting graded or credit?
They may or may not get.
Right, we're not sure of that yet, but
Yeah,
I think
that
there
would be,
is. I'm just
I
wondering
think it
if,
sounds great.
I'm just, my only concern is, I understand that you wanna do it during school, during lunch, but if there are other clubs that say, oh, wait a minute, maybe we can move our meetings to Power Block and then we don't have to pay the user fee. I'm just concerned about that. I support this discussion
Well-
group, but
And I have not spoken with Mr. Ward, but I know Amelia has, and I would assume that the English teachers will certainly work this in as extra credit. And so because of that, it has a curriculum connection.
okay.
It would not meet the same condition as, having any other club that
Okay.
meets. The only other function, student council meets, no? Student reps meet during
Yeah.
the Power Block.
And that's not a
and-
fee
Right.
thing, right?
I think if I could too add, that I think there's a component of learning, structured learning time that this fulfills, as opposed to a club meeting would be going on during Power Block.
Especially if they get credit, I mean, that will.
That even adds to it, right, right. So in our minds, when Amelia and I think I speak for Amelia too, when we met to talk about this, the idea was that it would not be in the sense of a club as we all know it, when we talk about peer assistance leadership and student leadership academy and things of that nature. This is more of a learning activity that would take place during the school day only, once a month. Who will select review the books? Amelia and I spoke about her presenting them to me, and
Okay.
she and I would work on the approval prior to it being selected as the book for the study that month.
Okay.
And then Amelia, I suggested that Amelia was an member.
Can you use like the Monarch notes and stuff?
No movies.
No movies,
No movies,
right?
no Cliff Notes, no, not Cliff Bowers notes. Now I'm confusing everybody.
So this,
Yeah, earlier in the year, I met, Pam Bowden and I met with, and Vicki Oblonsky met with the town librarians, so I would encourage, through John, through you, and also Amelia, to perhaps make contact
I
with,
spoke with the
with Ms.